Hi, nice having you here, and welcome to the Tower Decision. Are you just getting started with Microsoft Power BI, or you want to master Power BI for data visualization? So, in today's video, we're going to be looking at how to actually answer business questions. So, everything you see right in here are going to be translated using data. So, if your problem is looking at text and not knowing what to do, the function to write or the DAX to write to actually get the insight out, don't worry. This video is something very simple. I'm going to actually cover everything that you need to know about Microsoft Power BI, and it will help you out on how to actually approach, Power BI projects. Okay. So if you look at this particular dashboard right here, it's about sales, performance, and everything here is very simple. I'm going to show you not too much complex, DAX is very straightforward. So all you have to do is to learn how to apply every single thing you're going to learn from this particular dashboard into your own personal project. So if you're ready, I'm almost ready. Let us get into the class. Oh, that reminds me, please support this particular channel by subscribing and like, and if need be, just leave a comment and let me know what you feel about my dashboards. Those are all the files we need to actually work with. If I open up this particular folder, I have all the icons I'm going to use right in here, and I'm going to show you the website I used to get my icons from. Okay, the next thing now is for you to open up this particular business questions here, and you're going to actually see something that looks just like this. So all you have to do is to read through this to understand what the business questions are and how you can actually bring them to life using DAX, in Power BI. So we're going to go through it together, don't worry. Okay, the next thing now is for you to open up Power BI, which is this right here, right? So you might not have the same thing just like what I have right here right now if you just install Power BI for the first time. So all you have to do once you open up Power BI, this is the interface you're going to see. Click on blank report. So we are here, and the next thing is for you to understand the kind of data that you have. How can you know that? Let's go back to this folder. So while we are here, we can actually click on this particular one. When you hover over it, let us look at what information it displays. So as you can see over here, it is actually giving us, CSV. Can you see now? It is CSV. So now that we have known the type of file that we have, let us go ahead and pick up our data. So the easiest way is for you to go over to this particular get data here. So from there, we can look for text/CSV here. So open up the folder, and here you go. You have all the three files that are CSV. So I'm going to go with my sales data. So don't touch anything. All you have to do is to click on transform data here. So there is not much to clean. I'm going to leave the table name the way it is, but if you want to change it, just come over here and highlight and change it to whatever you like, or you double click over here to change it to whatever you like. So for the time being, I'm going to go over to new source and click on CSV again. Now let us go with our region. So now click on OK. On this one, we have something to fix. If you look at it right now, we have the West region as, West, and the East region is actually just E. The North region is cool, but the South region is not really cool. So how can we actually, get things done right here? So just go ahead and right click and go straight up to this particular replace values. Now, here you go. You must actually use the actual, kind of letter that you have right in here is caps, which is, it's an uppercase. So we just have to put here E. So what do we want to do? This is going to be East. Right? So click on OK. Now it has fixed it for me. The next thing we do now, we do for South. Don't forget to right click again, values. So if I do small letter s and I go for south, and I click on OK. So nothing happens. It's even replacing the wrong one for me. That is crazy. And this one won't actually replace as not work. So what do? Double click over here under the replace values here. This is where it records all your actions right in for you. So now we can come over here now and use the uppercase. So if I click on OK, so it has worked. So let us go ahead and pick up the last one, which is our product table. It is still CSV. Then we go for the product. So make sure you click on OK here. So I think we have the same, almost similar issue with what we had before. So over here now we have electronics. So on the laptop, and this E simply means electronics. But sometimes if you're actually dealing with client data or even your office data, you might not have the full understanding of your data. So maybe what a particular column is all about. You just have to ask the right question to know what exactly you need to replace it with if need be. So right now I'm going to right click here, then go to replace values. To actually get it accurately, in case it's something that is strange to you, you can actually copy this one from here. So look at it, just copy, right click and copy, then go to replace values right in here. So once we have done this now, the next thing we have to do is to look at what we want to replace is the E over here. So we'll replace it with what? With electronics, then click on OK. So look at what happens. If you look at it right now, something weird happened. This electronics here is actually double and it's not even correct. So, but the one we want to actually, replace is 100% correct right now. So what do? How can we fix this? It's easy. So we're going to come over to the step that it has added for us. So which is replaced value, and double click it. Just like this. So once you have done that, open up advanced option here and make sure this particular match entire cell contains is being ticked. So once you have checked this, let us click on OK. Now, this is what it is. We have the solution under control. The next thing is for you to go ahead and do replace value again. So you have to type the actual listing in. So if I type in furniture in the wrong form, so let's say I forget the I. So, and I use the right case and I click on OK. So it's not actually working because it cannot find it. So you have to make sure you have the accurate spellings. That is why it's always, cool to copy. If you think you are going to mess it up, just go ahead and double click again. So over here, we paste this and we click on OK. Oh no, that is crazy. Let's do it again. Think over here, we just have to remove this step. What we are finding is this. So right click over here and do find and replace. Then we're looking for earth. We'll replace that with this. So if you mistakenly add a space to it and you click on OK, it's not going to work the way you expected it because this one you copied from here does not have any space. So what do? Make sure there is no space in the one you pasted in here. So space is known as character, invisible character. So now it almost worked, but not 100%. What do we then now do? We just have to do the same exact thing we have done before. Go to advanced here and make sure this one is being checked. Then click on OK. Now 100% correct. So everything is actually cool now. The next thing I want to do is for me to actually create a blank table right in here, which I'm going to actually store all my measures right in. And how do you do that? Go over here to enter data. You can do this through Power BI. You can actually use DAX to get it done, whichever one you feel like is cool for you. If you have been watching my videos before now, you would have known that there are several ways to do this. So I'm going to call this one DAX house. Then click on OK. It's a blank, disconnected table. So subscribe to my YouTube channel is very important. Try to support me by hitting the like button, share if need be, and don't forget to actually comment whatever you just feel like you want to actually learn from me. Let me know from you in the comment section. Okay, we have everything right in here right now. The next thing we have to do is to go ahead and say close and apply. Once I have my data loaded in, just like what you can see right in here right now, the next thing I have to do is to make sure this untitled is being titled, which means I have to save my project. It's very important. Your system can shut down, you lose everything, all the hard work you have actually put in. So we have to rename it. So how do we do that? Go over to File or you Control S. It's going to actually open up this for you. Then click on More, then click on Browse this computer. So now let's go over to where we have it. So it's under here. So we can actually name it to, so once you have named it, just go ahead and click on Save and you have saved this. So if presumably maybe something happened, the system shut down whatsoever, you can have the last memory and actually, recover it back with ease once you have actually saved it. But if you don't save it, you can get your files back. So we have everything right in here. So the next thing we have to do is to go over to this particular model view, and straight up over here, it has actually connected our tables for us. And it's something very straightforward, very easy. We don't need to do too much writing here. And this is the Power BI got it right 100%. I told you this one is actually called a disconnected table. You don't need to connect it. So over here now, we have what we call one-to-many relationship, which is many regions here made a lot of sales multiple times right in here. And we sold multiple products as well. From here is just one product that is existing. So we have sold that particular product multiple times or that particular category multiple times. And we're able to actually make connection between the product right inside this particular table. The same thing to region ID. You can actually watch my other videos to see how I made justification to data modeling and stuff like that. So let's continue. Now the question is this: what is next after loading our data? So we have to go to our PDF and look at what the first question right here is all about. So we have the overall performance. So it's asking for our total sales meeting or exceeding the sales target. By how much are we above or below target? So we can actually know this when we actually use either product or region and as well month. So this is exactly what the question here is actually talking about: monthly performance and trends. So which month perform above target and which month perform below target? So is sales performance improving, declining, or fluctuating over time? So which quarter recorded the strongest performance? So we're going to answer all of those particular questions right in here. So we have a target achievement pattern here. So is performance driven by consistent monthly growth or by a few strong months? Are there seasonal patterns in sales performance? Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to answer all of this. All you have to do is just to make sure you follow me step by step. So we have the regional performance over here where it says which region generates the highest sales, the one that actually exceeded target and underperforming, all of that. So finally over here, I think, okay, not finally, we have the product performance, just like what we have under the regional performance over here. And we have the profitability as well. And quickly, we have the transaction here. And we have the executive summary inside. This is the most important part of this particular video. If you can actually watch to the end, I'm going to show you how to create something like this. Over here, it says, what is the single most important insight management should know? So what is driving our current sales performance? Time, period, region, or product. I'm going to show you how to actually achieve this. All you have to do is just to make sure you continue watching while I actually help you to create this step by step, and you can be able to actually answer questions with data after watching this particular video. So let us get into it. Now it is time for you to go deep into the data that we have. Click over this particular table view over here. And the most important part of our data, every single tables here are important, but this particular facts sales table here is really important. So we have the date column. So we have the ID for region and the product. So we have our sales, then we have the profit already calculated for us and the target right in here. So every single columns here are really cool, but we're not going to use this particular cost column. So we're going to be using the sales, the profit, and the target. So using either of those particular columns I've shown you right now, we can pull any of them in here, for example, like targets. So now, as you can see, we have 26 million as the total target that we actually, have, right? So if I drag in sales right in here, so we have sales of 31 million, right? So what do we call this? We call this implicit measure. We cannot reuse this, and we are trying to create something that we can actually reuse over and over again. And that particular kind of measure is called explicit measure. So how do we actually get this created? That was the reason why I actually created this particular DAX house right in here. This is where we have to store in all the DAX we're going to be writing today. So how do we go about that? Just go over here and right click into it and create new measure. So now I want to actually aggregate, my sales again. So all I have to do right now is just to type in here total, sales, right? So equals. So use the sum function over here. What does the sum function do? The sum function go into a single column and actually aggregate all the values in that particular column. So if you're actually a beginner, just pay attention to this particular IntelliSense right in here. It says add all the numbers in a column. So what do? You just bring in sales from your fact table. So if I hit my enter key right now, this will produce the same number, which is the same 31 million right in here. Let us prove it right or wrong by dragging this right here. Okay, this is great. So all I have to do is to actually have this formatted. Make sure you click on it and go over here and choose any number formatting of your choice. In this particular case, I'm going to use this particular dollar, sign here, right? So we have gotten this done. We need several measures to be created, and they are very simple. We're just going to create them behind the scene, then come back and show you how they all go. And you can actually create the same exact thing as well. So, all right, I have actually created some basic measures, just like something like this right in here, which I have actually created at your presence before now. So the measures we have actually created is actually our total target, which is actually summarizing this particular column right in here, this column from here, target. And the same thing with what we have done to profit. If I go to total profit right in here, I just aggregated that particular column just like this, as you can see. And the other one is actually transaction. This is a little bit different because it is not actually an existing column inside our table. So for we to actually calculate transaction, we have to actually go into the fact table right in here and count how many rows do we actually have. There's a function that is actually meant for that. That is the count rows function, which is exactly what we have actually used right in here. So what are we counting? We're counting the table because this particular table contains row by row of every single daily transaction. So it's going to count it and never going to actually exclude anything, duplicate. But every single duplicate is going to be counted, and that is exactly what we want. If Peter has 20 transactions, it's going to be counted 20 times. That is the work of the count rows function right in here. So the next thing is for we to actually calculate the profit margin in percentage. So this is for we to actually divide our total profit by the total sales. That actually gives us the profit margin. So you can actually do this without a function called divide. You can do it by actually using this particular slash right in here, and it means the same thing, but using this is actually something that is actually good practice. So you understand that right now. So those are the basic measures we actually need to actually create before we actually dive deep into visualization and writing a little bit complex measure, because right here I am not going to do too much advanced or complex measure. It's going to be very simple. I want to keep it simple for everybody who is just getting started to understand how Power BI works. So how about this? For we to answer all of those questions right in here, let us start from the KPIs that are very important. And after we're actually done with everything, we're going to come right in here to verify if we have actually done justification to those questions right here. Okay, getting back to Power BI, I want to go ahead and take off this particular one. These ones, they're actually the implicit measures. So I want to go with the explicit measure right in here, which is my total, sales, right? So I would like to actually make sure I start formatting this from the scratch. So all I have to do is just to go over to here and make sure I'm actually using none. Then I have everything showing up just like this. I love it this way, right? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to make sure I put this at 20. Oh, too small. So let us go with 25. So 25 looks a little bit okay, right? So now I'm going to keep it at this. So next thing is for me to copy and paste this one 4 times over here. So keep this over here, keep another one over here, and finally keep another one over here. Just watch me do this, and before you know, we're going to have a very beautiful dashboard, just like what you have seen in the introductory part of the video. Okay, right in here, what we need to show is actually a target. So we're going to come over here and take off that, put in target. Then the target should be formatted nicely by using this particular dollar number formatting. So make sure you don't have an extra decimal right in here. Just go over to here and put 0 and take off any extra decimal number that might actually appear. It's very important. Okay, now we just have to go right in here and actually bring in the variance. So which is the target variance. So how do we calculate this? It's important for you to know this. So what we have done is to take the total sales from the total target that is being set for the company. So that gives us the variance. So we just have to make sure it's actually well formatted as well. Very important. Okay, next again is for we to actually bring in, I think, profit. Yeah, profit is good. So profits, profit and profit margin. So profit right in here, and our profit should be actually formatted as well. So those are the KPIs we need to actually be writing here. So don't actually mind how they are being arranged. We are going to actually take care of every single thing after all. The next thing we have to do right now is to actually bring 2 more KPIs, and it's only one that's actually available right now. That is the profit margin right in here. So for the profit margin, we are going to actually click on this one, click over here to apply the same exact formatting to it. So here, here, here. Now, here we go. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to actually calculate the average, sales per transaction. It's something we actually have inside our PDF. So if I actually go down now, I think we have a part where it's talking about transaction. So over here it says, what is the average sales value per transaction? Are we generating high value or low value transactions? This is exactly what it is. So how do we answer that particular question? I already have the total transaction right in here. The next thing we have to do right now is to calculate the average sales per transaction, which is something very easy. So let us go ahead and right click, then go new measure. So now average sales per transaction. So we're going to use the divide function here, just like you're calculating percentage. So divide, and with this now, we actually want to divide our total sales, which is this value here, by the target. Sorry, by the transaction. Here. So here, this is actually what helps us to calculate the average sales per transaction. Okay, all our KPIs are ready. So what do we need to do next right now? We need to add some couple of charts. This particular video is going to be very short. All you have to do is just follow me step by step, and I'll show you every single thing you need to know and how you can actually apply the same exact thing to your own personal project. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not done that. Share to your friends and family, like, and leave a comment. Let me know what you feel about my videos. If you look at here, it's saying monthly performance and trends. So which month perform above average? I'm sorry, above target or below target? So is sales performance improving and stuff like that? So how do we actually, tell this story right here using the data that we have? Let's find out. So going back here right now, the next thing I'm going to do is to actually use this particular, I think I'm going to use what chart should actually communicate this very well for me. I'm thinking of close charts bar chart. Yeah, I think so. Okay, clustered column chart will work. This one here. So make sure you bring it and make it bigger. If need be, just put it on focus, right? Okay, now we have this. What do we do? So we can't use this right now without a calendar table. But we can sometime. That is only if you want to use the default calendar right in here. So if there is no need for you to actually use beyond months, quarter, and day, there is no need for you to create a calendar table. You can actually use the dates that actually came with your data that Power BI generates for you. So right now, if I turn this to a table, you can see this is what we have. So, but there is still some kind of side effect of using this right here. Even if I try to say, okay, you know what? I have a hierarchy here. We're going to actually open up this one. I don't need to actually use day. I don't need to use quarter. I don't need to use the year. I just need to use the month. So this month right now is the full month. There is no way I can shorten this to actually use the first three letters, right? So this is going to work fine if I try to pull in my sales and my target into it. It works fine. So if I go ahead and actually use the clustered column chart I want to use, this is actually working fine. And if I go straight up to this particular part here and decide to actually push the target into the line, y-axis here, so this still works fine. But the problem I have right now, if I actually go ahead and take it back to report view, so is that I have this kind of, view. So this is crazy. I can't control how the month looks. So the only solution I can actually do right now is for me to create my own calendar table. And that is something very simple. We don't need too much complex DAX to do that. So what do? We go over to this particular table view. We click on table tools. Over here, we have table. Just click on it and let's see the magic. So name it calendar equals. So now over here, we have what we call calendar auto. So this calendar auto automatically generates your date table for you. So put a comma over here, but don't put a comma, just hit the enter key, and this will actually give you a date column. So the next thing you have to do is just to actually format this. It's optional. So let's do this. Now it has been formatted like this. The next thing we have to do right now is to add more columns to this. We don't need too much columns. We just need the month, right? And the month number. So over here at the top here, shift enter to go into a new line. So use this particular function called add columns. With the add columns, we can actually add more columns to this. So here now becomes our table, which is this particular column right in here. So put a comma over here, shift enter. Now the first thing I'm going to do is to type in month and comma here. So using the format function, your square bracket will quickly give you access to get this right in here. And this is the column I just slotted in here right now. With the comma, now we do MMM in either small letter or uppercase, whatever you want to use. So once I'm done, shift enter, I close and I just go ahead and hit my enter key. I just have a new month added right now. So look at it. So this is what Power BI automatically generated for us. This very one here. So for we to actually control it right now, we take off one M and we are left with three M's and we have the shadow format right here. So let us look at if we replace this with what we have done, what is going to happen. So let me put it on this mode here. So let us replace this with the one we have created. So I'm going to go to my calendar and bring in the month. So something happened. There is no relationships between my facts table and as well the calendar table I just created. So what do? We have to create it. Let us go straight up to this particular, part right in here. Then over here now we have our calendar. I'm going to push it over here. Have this one hidden. So you can bring the facts cells here down. So now you can drag from anywhere. Drag from here to this particular place to give you one to many. Then if you drag from here to here, it will give you many to one. Let us find out. So now can you see many to one? So if I go ahead and cancel right now and just do this to this, I'm going to have one to many. It's the same thing, does not really change anything. So whichever one you actually select will give you what it is. So make sure this particular part here is checked, then go ahead and click on save. So once you have done that, you can actually see the relationship is actually created for you. So where you have one is the one side, where you have the asterisk is the many side, and that is how it works. Let us go back over here right now. So it has been created. Look at it. If I actually step off from the report view, and here we go. Can you see now? This is shorter and this is cool for me. But unfortunately, something is actually still not really right. And that is just what it's starting with. It starts with December and it's ending in February. So which means we need this under column to actually correct this. So how do we get that done? Let's get back into here. And now we add a column called month number. So month number. So over here, I'm going to just use the month function, then the date. So close and hit the enter key. So this one ordinarily wouldn't solve any problem. If I go back right now, I still have the same exact problem. So click over here and click on this particular part. Now go over to sort by column. Once you're here, click on month number. So it has been sorted automatically for us. So let's go over here now and take a look at it. Nothing works. Does it mean I lied? Or I can't really remember how to get it done? No, don't worry. It's fine. It has worked. But the thing is this, you have to step off from here. Despite that, it didn't work. Okay, let's get back to this view again. Focus mode. So now what do we do to make sure we correct things? Let's go over to calendar and take off month, bring it back in, and here we go. So now it is starting from January. Can you see now? From January, and it ends in December. This is exactly what it is. Okay, let us now go back here and look at what it is. It says which month performs above target and which months perform below target. So how do we actually make sure this particular question is being answered? So without even doing anything right now, we can see the months that are below and above target. But what we have to do is to make sure this communicates well, even though if somebody is actually from afar looking at the screen, the person should be able to understand what month is below and above by using colors to actually get that done. So this is where we have to choose the right color for our dashboard before we proceed. So how about it? If you're not too good at selecting colors for your report or your dashboard, this is the website that will definitely help you to choose the right color. So just go to Google and search for Adobe Color Wheel right in here and click on this particular first link, and it will take you to where you can actually start mixing your color. In most of my videos, I've shown you how to actually generate your colors all by yourself using the color palette right in here. So let's get back to the class. Okay, right now we have to look at what particular color we actually want to use. So if you go ahead and click over here right now, you can see we have the column and we have the line. So for the column, we can actually come over here and choose any color of our choice. But I don't want to just choose any color of my choice. I want to mix the color. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to click over here and go with, I think it's 1F4. All right, 1F4, FD8, the8. So it makes this particular color for me. This is the color I want to choose, right? So now we cannot use this particular color that we have right on the line right now. So we have to change the color of the line. So what color do you think we can actually use that to actually, correlate with this particular color we have right here already? That was why I showed you that particular website. The website actually makes this particular color for you, and it will be very correct if you use it right on your report. So let us go quickly to the line over here. On the line, we go straight up to this particular part here and go to color, then click on this particular part and click on more. So let us do 7A8698A. So now we have a gray color. So this is actually for our line chart. But the thing is this, if we still go back over here, have we answered the question? So which month performs below target and above target? we're still in the same place. So what do we do? Let us use color to communicate this further. So what I'm going to do right now is just to go straight up to this particular part. I don't have problem with the line chart. Let's go to the column chart here. Click over here and copy the color code of this particular one. It has been copied. So before we do anything, we have to write that measure. And that measure is actually called conditional formatting. So go over to the DAX house, right click and create a new measure over here. This measure will actually check which particular month is above and which month is below target. So how do we do that? Okay, it's easy. Let's find out. So over here, I'm going to call this one CF months. I am naming it this way because if I have it as conditional formatting, I can actually specify on which particular chart or visualization should it go for. Okay, over here, I'm going to do if. So I'm going to say if this particular total sales here, if it is greater than target, then if that is true, give me 1. Otherwise, give me 0. Then go ahead and close and hit your enter key. Can you see it now? This is our conditional formatting, measure. So what we need to do right now is to go straight up to this particular part right here and go ahead and click on the column here. So instead of us to use this particular part, use the FX here. And once we are here, make sure you choose rules. Then over here, add new one. Then we have 2 of them. So it is actually in percentage. Make sure you actually convert it to number. It's important, number. Then this one is actually going to be 0 while we have this one on 1. Then let's just make sure they are all equals. So equals 0, equals 1, they are all number. So when it is equals 0, we want to see this particular color. When it is equals 1, we paste in the color code we copied. And if I hit my enter key right now, it's not working. So what is the problem? Let's find out. So the problem now is that we actually just throw in those particular colors and 0 and 1 without pointing it to the measure that is going to trigger it to actually give us what we want. So let us get back into the FX here. And now here is doing it by total sales. Let us go with CF and choose this particular one. Then click on OK and say the magic. Here we go. So now we can quickly spot the months that are below and the months that are above. Can you see it now? So colors sometimes communicates better than you looking at the numbers that is being attached to your visualization. So what is next? We have to actually format this particular chart because right now it's not looking cool. So what we need to do right now is just for me to go over to the y-axis here and the x-axis rather. So take off the title and you scroll back up and just increase the font a little bit, right? So let us put it at 12. So when we go back up, we go to the y-axis and we scroll all the way down. Then we take off the title and as well the value. We don't need it. So we have the legend here. It's very important. We should keep it, but we don't want to have the title on the legend. We take off the title. And if need be, we can increase our legend for it to be visible to whoever is actually using our dashboard. So what do? Go to the text area here and increase the legend to be much more visible. Okay, the next thing we have to do right now is to go all the way up and go to the title here and make sure we actually change the title. So let us look at how we can actually get this particular part right. So it's talking about its regional. So which particular region sales exceed targets. So while we are here, the next thing we have to do right now is to use this particular chart right here. It's called Conditional. So once we actually choose this particular chart, let's bring it down here. So when you can focus on that, we just have to look for the so the gem is following the table. So once we have gotten the gem now, we go to the DAX here. We pick up the sales and as well the targets. Okay. So this is actually best in okay. Now there is something we ought to have done before. Let's be going over here and add some other things to this. So if I hover over this right now, what you can see is just the sales, right? So it's not making sense until I actually hover over the line chart before I can be able to see the value for the target. So what do we do? What we need to do now is bring up this one and scroll all the way down until the same. So once we're set on tape, all we have to do right now is to actually say, okay, if I hover over this, what I see is total sales. I want to see the target. So drag in target. So drag in target areas. So once you've done that, drag in average sales per transaction, then drag in profits into this. Finally, you have to drag in profit. So guess what? Part of our market, let's say lots of information. So let's see now. The only thing we have to shape right now is the average. Look at the average here and make sure it's formatted nicely. Yeah, that's exactly. So right now, Power BI is a very powerful tool for the analytics and visualization. So if you know how to use it well, your communication will be very, very clear to the end users. This is exactly what you need to do to keep things very clear. We'll hover over this right now and see what's going right in here. If I hover over here, you can see the target is actually negative value. That is what you can see right in here. So what about this? Okay. Now let's get back here. If I want to use this same thing, this same setup right on this particular one right now, what you can do is just to go ahead and delete this particular one from here. Just because of the tooltip I have, I want to just go ahead and copy and paste this one over here and bring this one in here and remove the month. Once you remove the month, I think we still have the tooltips right here. Okay, that's beautiful. So now we can go straight up to this particular part and bring in our region into it. So here we have the region, but unfortunately we don't want to use this, so we just have to go for this particular chart right here. So here we go. We have something that looks just like this. Can you see it now? So if I hover over here now, you can see we have all the tooltips that shows us more information about the chart we are looking at. So what do we do next? I'm going to copy this one and paste it down. I'm going to do the same thing for products. So for products right now, we have to change the chart type to this very one here and go straight up to the particular part and bring in the products here. So here we go. So we have this. The next thing for we to do right now is to actually go ahead and add a slicer. So the slicer should be category. So go over here and add category as slicer. So if I actually click on this right now, it filters my dashboard for me. So how about this? Very interesting, right? Okay. So we have to quickly make sure we match the colors of this particular chart to this particular color right in here. So if I click on this right now, I can go straight up to this particular part, then go over to bars. From bars, we go straight up to this particular part. We choose sales, and sales has its own color, which is this particular one. Then go over here to target. Target has its own color, which is this particular one right here. That is correct. So we just have to make sure we go ahead and click on this one and paste it over here to get this information. So we are not done yet. So we have to change its title. So instead of month, we just have to say regional. Right? So over here, it has to be put. And you see how easy it is to do right. So we have done justification to this. The next thing right now, before we move further, is for me to actually go ahead and so going over to what is next, right? So what is single and what is driving our current sales performance: time period, region, or product. Okay. Yeah. So once we have noted that, the next thing we have to do right now is to make sure this particular line chart right here is actually on the right spot, which is this particular space we have for it. It's cool. And next again is for we to actually, create an insight, and the insight text will be right here, and the rest of the charts will be on this particular spot right in here. So we have 6 different, sketch or shapes to actually create. So we're going to be using PowerPoint to actually create this particular beautiful background. Let us quickly go into it. We are right on PowerPoint. So what is the first thing to do? We have to make sure we clean up this particular part. So here we go. The next thing we have to do is to make sure we change the color we are looking at right now. Go over to this particular format after you right click. Then you have something like this. The next thing you have to do, you can actually move this to anywhere you like, right? Move it to anywhere you like. I'm going to keep it right in here. So choose this particular gradient fill. Once you've done that, take off 1 steps. Now put this in the middle. Let us concentrate on this particular first stop right in here, and click over here and choose more colors. So once you choose more colors, it's time for you to start getting things done now. So I'm going to use the RGB in case you're actually using a lower version that doesn't have hex code, no problem. So over here, what I'm going to have here is going to be 240. So right in here, I'm going to have 217, and finally it's going to be 241. Then click on OK. So it has changed it. So go over to the middle. I'm going to change the middle color as well. It's very important that we do that so that it can actually give us exactly what we want. So go over here now, choose more colors, and over here we're going to do 179. Then we're going to do 206. So finally we want to do 251. See that now? Very important. So we're going to actually get for this particular one right in here. So click on more colors. So this one is going to be over here. We're going to use 213 by 222, and finally we're going to do 242. Then click on OK. So now you can see the fill actually changed. All right, so once we have gotten this now, you can move this away from here and keep it right in here. The next thing we have to do is to go over to our insert. From insert, go to shapes. From shapes, pick up this particular rounded corner rectangle. Drag it over here. So once you have done that, the rounded corner should be reduced. We just want to have a little one of it. So keep it somewhere around here and adjust it. Then push this one to this edge, then have this one pushed, right? So we want to make sure this one is actually centralized. What do? We go over to shape format and we click on, align middle. Go ahead and do align center. So this space here, this space we have at the top here, this particular space over here, and the space we have over here, with the space at the bottom here are actually the same thing because we did the right thing. Okay, now the question you might be asking right now is this: what is next? So what do we do next? The next thing now is we want to change the background we have right in here. So what I'm going to do now is just to go over to this particular part and take off the line. Then click over here and choose a particular color for it. So let us go through this particular part and do 243. Then we're going to do 244. And finally, we're going to do 248. Now, here we go. It's white, but it's not that bright. It's a little bit calm. Now we have something like this. So make sure the outline is gone. Then you're going to have this particular nice slick design. The next thing is for you to go back to insert again, shapes, and we take normal rectangle. So we drag it all the way down here. So you just keep it somewhere around here. So make sure you maintain that white space between this particular card here and this particular one. So now we want to have this particular one here. This is the white space I was talking about in the inception of the video. So now this is cool. Then we want to change the color to white, like this. So if you look at it right now, it has a white line. So make sure you come over here and turn it off. Let's see how it looks. So if we turn it off right now, the white is fainting into the background here. It's not looking good at all. So click on it and make sure you actually do something about it. Let us go over to solid line. So once we have done that, we click over here and we choose this particular one here. It's softer. Can you see now? It looks very soft and it pops out this particular card. Interesting, right? So what do we do next? Let us just move it a little bit. The next thing we have to do right now is for we to duplicate it. So we have a duplicate of it. So in this particular duplicate, what do we do with it? We want to create 4 different cards, right, for KPIs. And this particular 4 cards, we hold our KPIs and they have to be created in a different color. First of all, let us change the color. Go to more over here. So over here, click on this one and let's go straight up to this particular part and change it to 242. We already have it, but I can actually do it again. So 244 and finally we have 248. So now I can resize this and bring it here. So do this. So make sure you come over to this particular solid line. Now we choose this one. Can you see it now? Okay, I think I'm going to stick to this very one here. No. That is not what I wanted. I mean the line. Stick to this one. So nicely done. So we want to make sure we duplicate this one into 4 places. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we have lots of white spaces. So Ctrl Z to have just this one and bring it down a bit. Once you've done that, let us duplicate it again. So we have 4, we still have more spaces. So you Ctrl Z again, and you just bring it down. This is how I used to actually get things done. So now this time around, we should actually be okay. So let us keep this one right here and hold our Control key to select all of them. Then go over here, go to align to the left, then distribute vertically. So if you do this now, you can see the space between them is not really much. It's not cool at all. So what I'm going to do is to hold my Control key to select 3 of them and delete them. So click over here and just adjust it. So now we can duplicate it by keeping this one over here. So if you look at it now, I willingly just shifted it to this particular edge because I want to have this particular space so that I can actually control how this sits right in here. So if I hold my Control key now and select all of them, go over to Shape Format here, go over here and to the left. Now vertically distribution. So can you see now? We have this particular nice space right in here. So what is next? Next thing now is for you to go over to Insert again. Click on this particular one. Click over this particular rounded circle. Then hold your Shift key down and just do this. So now we keep this over here and we'll make sure it steps off from the edge a little bit. Once you've done that, take off the line. So let us push this one to 90. Okay, now we're going to do duplicate again. Ctrl D. So don't bother, you can shift this one in, do this. Okay, hold your Control key to select all of them, Then go over here and align to the right-hand corner. Nicely done. So the next thing now is for me to go over here and do white. So the white is not popping out the way it should be. Go over to this particular effect, click on shadow, go over here, and this particular one that says center. So put this one at 95%. So 95%. So now this will actually step it out from the background a little bit, right? Okay. Once you have done this now, the next thing we have to do is to bring in all of the images or icons that we want to use. So go over to insert here, then be in here. So insert pictures, this device. So over here we have those icons. I'm going to actually bring in all of them. So one after the other, we have to resize them. Resize it. So click on this one and resize it. Resize this one as well. Okay, so we have them now. So individually, we're going to be resizing them and use them. So resize this one. So on this particular one, I'm going to actually use this for my sales. So bring it in here. Then the next one now should be this one. Reduce it. So bring this one in here. Next again is going to be this very one here. Bring this one in here. And finally over here, we're going to reduce this one, reduce it, and bring it in here. So once I'm done with this right now, the next thing I'm going to do is to right click again and bring this particular, shape format here. So select all of them, select them all, then go over here, click on this particular part. For right now, yeah, here we go. So select this one. Can you see it now? It's more calm. So once we have actually gotten this one done, we have to focus on what is next. So the next thing we have to do right now is to actually get this particular one behind it duplicated and keep it somewhere around here. So once you have done that, just go ahead and resize it this way and adjust it to go this way. All right. So if you are cool with what you have, that is nice. So we are good with this one. Then the next thing I'm going to do right now is to get it duplicated. And for the duplicate, we have to choose a particular color for it. It's important. If you still remember this particular color right here, this is what we're going to use. So to quickly get the color now, you can click on this particular one. So let us go over here and click on bars. So scroll down and make sure you select sales. Then you can copy the color from here, or just check the RGB, whichever one you want to use. Okay, now over here now, we just have to right click and go to format shape. So from here, we just have to click over this particular part and paste in the color we have just copied right in here. So check out the RGB in case you don't have the hex code, you can actually use it. So click on OK. This is too bright. What I'm going to do right now is to make sure I put this at 90%. No. 70 looks fine. 70% looks fine. So I'm just going to make sure I do something like this. I'm going to keep it somewhere around here. Reduce it. So something like this would be cool. So once I've done this now, I'm going to just make sure this one will be reduced. And I'm going to have it right in here. It's going behind. Right click and bring it to front. So here we go. So we have to make sure we get this one again. So keep this over here. Like this. Now, the next thing is to get this very one now. Bring to front. All right. So this one has its own space, so I'm going to use it later. So for now, I'm going to get this one off. We don't have the use. Okay. What is next? Next thing now is for we to create 4 line charts. So we just have to click on this one, duplicate it, and bring this down. So make sure you bring it down. So once you're saturated, duplicate again, move this icon to this side. So we just bring this all the way down here. So what I'm going to do right now is just to go over to this particular shape format here. Check the same number, as the same color rather, and let's go with 80. So now we just have to bring this one down, then bring this one over here. So we can reduce this one a little bit. So I can send this one to back, click on this one, send it to back to reveal this one again. Then I can have access to click on this very one. So once I've done that, now the next thing I'm going to do is just to go over to insert here. From insert, you can see, do it again, this particular text. So inside it, I'm going to write inside, like this. So I'm going to keep this one over here, like this. Okay. So what we can do now is just get this one, keep it over here. So make sure you use your eye to gauge the space you have here and make sure they are equal. So bring this one down to this level and adjust it this way. Okay. Can you see this now? Let's just reduce this to make sure we see it better. So here we go. We have something that looks like this. So bring this over here. Bring this over here. Now adjust this like this. So make sure you click on this one and adjust it. So click on this one and adjust it. We can come back here and adjust things later after all, but for now, we just have to perfect it. So I want to move these particular ones here, just move it a bit. Okay, now here we go. I will tell you firsthand that we are done with creating, our background. This is exactly what we need. All we have to do right now is to export this out and have it used, right? So let's do that. So I'm going to click over File, click on Export, click on this, and PNG. So save it inside the folder you are using. So I'm going to save it right in here as BG. So just this one. So we can now go back to our Power BI environment and see how this will look over here. So if I come over to Canvas background, make sure you don't select any visual, otherwise you wouldn't see it. So select a blank space and make sure you turn this one to 0%, then click on Browse. Now here we go. Now it's not making sense. I'm scared. Will this look beautiful? Of course, don't worry. After we're done formatting this, you'll be like, thank you, because you're going to learn a lot on how to make your dashboard beautiful. So let's keep going. Let us focus on cleaning our, dashboard now and make it look beautiful. So we want to have control over this particular part here. So for that, we are going to come over here and take off this one. Once you have done that, we just have to come over here and turn off this particular one. Then this should actually be reduced. Let us go with 22. Okay. 20 is okay. So 20 looks fine. So with 20, we are good with it. So what I'm going to do right now is just to make sure I apply the same thing to this one, apply the same thing to this particular one, apply the same thing to this very one here. Then we can reduce it. Just bring it down a little bit. So do the same to this particular one here, bring it down. Do the same to this particular one here, and bring it down here. So now I told you we want to have control over the text we have right on it. So we go over to insert here, we click on the text box, and here we go. We have something like this. So what are we going to do? We just have to write the text we want to be on it. So total sales. So we just go ahead and increase this to, let's go with 16. Not bad. So here we go. We can centralize it. Or still, let us float it to the left-hand corner, this way. So we go over here now, we turn off the background. So we can keep it where it will look cool. So here we go, we have it like this and it looks perfectly okay. So all we have to do right now is to make sure we duplicate this. So now we have just settled this particular one and everything looks perfectly okay. So the next thing now is for me to come over here and reduce this particular part. And we just have to make sure we are on the same page. I'm going to click on this very one here. For this one, I'm going to leave the title, so it's okay. So keep this over here like this. So we turn off this very one. Then we go over here, reduce this. We keep this over here like this. So we turn off the background. So what do you see? It's looking already pretty, right? Don't worry, you're going to find it very easy to create all by yourself. Now let us come over here and readjust this particular one and make sure it fits right into this particular, box nicely down. So go over here and turn off the background. It's very important. So you have something that looks as clean as this. Now the next thing is for me to actually come over here now. Let us go ahead and take off this from here and make sure this one sits right in here. So once you are done, turn off the background color. It's very important. Then this one here should be nicely set in at this very spot. On filter, you see every single, our products that we have. So here we go. We have something that looks like this. The next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we decide to turn on the data label for it, which is going to be something like this. And over here, something like this, right? Then when we talk about this particular one, if we do the same thing to this very one now, it's going to look a little bit weird. Can you see now? It doesn't look pretty nice at all. So what do? We can actually find something to do about it. So which means we don't have to show the target data label, but just the sales. So we come over to data label. So what we need to do now is just to bring up the target and turn it off. So it's gone. Now we have something like this. So we have reduced the noise, right? So we have something that looks like this. So what is not sitting rightly where it should be right now is this particular one over here. So we have to change what? We have to change the kind of chart the kind of slides that we are using. Let's go with this particular one here. So once we actually click on this, let's go over here. And now we can go over to layout and under layout, we choose just two layouts and let us choose vertical. Oh, what did I do? Am I using slider? Yeah, new card, sorry. We're supposed to be using button slicer. Nicely done, that is beautiful. So we go over here, we just click on this and we choose two. That is not bad. So once you have done that, we just go ahead and turn off the title. Then both of them will appear so well right here. So we can actually move them and keep it somewhere around here. So we can just adjust things a little bit for me here. So I'm going to keep it here because they are related. So not bad. So if I select something here, now here we go. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time to actually start adjusting this, but you can actually adjust the color you have right in here, right? So make sure you click on it. And once you have done that, you just have to go over to this particular button here. While you're on button, click on the buttons here on the states. So you want to be under, selected. You're selected here. So you change what color you want to have on the selected. If you want to have border, you can keep it, but I'm going to turn off the border. So go over here to selected. I want selected to give me this very color. Can you see it now? Then you go back and unselected now, which is the default one. You turn off the background. You don't want it, right? So you just want something like this. So you can just make it a bit smaller, then to give room. So I think it's not really showing perfectly okay. So we just have to look for how to turn off the background. Here we go. We have something like this. If I bring it down now, everything shows up very well. I think it's a good way to show things. But if you don't want to do it this way, all you have to do is to make sure you click on the slider itself. And once you have done that, you just go straight up to this particular, layout part here, and you show horizontal. So it shows both of them this way. Then you can adjust it and bring it all the way down and to be centralized right in here. Okay, next thing we have to do right now is to go over to this particular part and copy this particular exact one from here and keep it somewhere around here, stretch it, and what we need to do is to type in the title of the dashboard, which is going to be Business Sales Performance Dashboard. So I'm going to highlight it, and I love this particular font here. I'm going to use it and come over here and crank it up to 20. So you just have to open it up. So here we go. We have something like this. I can decide to go ahead and bold it. So that particular dashboard stands out. So look at it. So this is what you have. Next thing we have to do right now is to create this very part. And if you are still watching, I believe you're actually waiting for this particular part, but because this is the action part that the management is actually waiting to see to actually summarize the whole dashboard. And it's going to take us a little work, but I'm going to show you how to get it done. So what about this? Let us get into it. Okay, here we go. We're talking about the executive summary insight. So what is the single most important insight management should know? So what is driving our current sales performance, time, period, region, or product? So let us quickly go back to our dashboard environment here. So while we are here now, what we want to do right inside this particular part is to quickly tell if the sales exceed in general, right? So here is our sales and here is our target. As you can see, we are actually above the target rather by 1.6 million. But we don't want to actually show that we're above the target by 1.6. We want to show what is the percentage. Is it 18%, 20, 30%, or 40% above? Or if we are below, what is the percentage that we have actually used to actually go below our, sales, or sorry, our target rather, right? And we want to see in what quarter are we above or below, which means if you can look at this right now, this is the last quarter right here, October, November, and December, things went high. And that is actually what contributed to this particular, variance that actually goes up in a positive way right in here. And we want to be able to actually highlight whatever is actually being selected from here. You get that right now? And we want to be able to actually see what particular region is this particular, sales coming from that is making us to actually, grow in revenue. So all of this put together, I'm going to show you how to do it. So let us get into it. So click over here and go over to DAX house. Then right click over here and choose new measure. Let us name this one inside text. So first of all, I'm going to create a variable here. So this variable is going to be called underscore target variance. So we already have it. We have now stored our target variance inside the variable. So the next thing we have to do is to actually create another variable. And this variable will convert the variance to percentage of target. How do we do that? So variable here, underscore let's just call this one variance value. So here now will be variance PCT or percentage. Okay, equals. So to compute that now, you're going to do here divide. So what are we dividing? We're going to be dividing our variance here by total targets here. So now, once we have done this now, we have to actually create a sentence based on whether performance is positive or negative, high or low. So how do we do that? We store it inside a variable again. So variable, so I'm going to call this one underscore variance sentence. I don't know if I get this right. So what do we do to have this created? I'm going to be using the if function. So I'm going to say if underscore variance PCT over here, if it is greater than or equals to 0, then what do you want? So what we want to show right now is going to be here sales exceeded targets by space close and ampersand here. Now we have to use the format function. This format function will convert decimal number of percentage into the actual percentage. So we're going to pick up the variance PCT over here and format it to 0.0. So if you want to have two decimal number, you put under 0, then you close, you have this closed. Then put a comma. That goes for what? For when we have positive value. So what about when we have negative value right now? What do we do? To get that done right now, we're going to say sales fell short of targets by, so over here, so format. So you don't have to do this from the scratch again. You can just be lazy a little bit here. Copy this, exclude the comma, and paste it right in here. So once you're done, Shift Enter, you close for your if. This is very simple, but if you're just getting started, this particular part of our class might be a little bit complicated. But don't worry, follow me step by step. It's going to be very easy for you. After you're done doing this, you can find a way to actually apply it on your own personal project. Then you see how easy it is for you to actually get it done. Everything I'm doing right here, right now, does not involve, complex DAX calculation. They are all simple calculation. I'm just tucking them in with variable. And that is why you're seeing that we have a lot of codes right in here, because they're just simple, right? Okay, once we are done right now, the next thing we have to do is to find the quarter with the highest, total sales. And over here now, there'll be a problem because we don't actually have a column inside our calendar that is named quarter. So what do we do? Right away, I'm going to freeze this. So over here, I don't know what to do. Okay, let's do, I want to phrase this. I used to do it, I don't know. Okay, just do return. Return this and return underscore PCT. Once you return this, it's not going to give you any error, but just like this. So if you want to try to see what is this right now, just bring it over here. It's just 18%. Forever. Okay, now we go into our calendar. We add for quarter, comma, shift enter. Over here, we can actually add for quarter. So how do we do that? We do QTR for quarter. You get that right now? So QTR is a short form of quarter as a text. So once you have done that, you do comma. So over here, the next thing you're going to do right now is to say, okay, you know what? I want quarter, but the quarter should be Q like this, with a dash, you close. And if I bring my comma right here, so what I want to do right now is to actually use the quarter function. Why is going to be? Why is not working? Oh, sorry. We need an ampersand here. Then quarter function, bring in the column, close, hit your enter key. Now we have quarter added for us. If you want to take a look at the results, let's go over to calendar. You can see we have from quarter one down to the last quarter. Can you see it now? So can we get back to business straight up? So now we click over the inside text here and we start with this. So remove this particular return here and let's start with a new variable. So we'll call this particular variable here top quarter equals. Okay, now to get a top quarter, what are we trying to do? We want to get a quarter with the highest sales. What function do you think can return the max value? That's going to be an iterator function that goes through rows by row. So that is max x function. So we can just say, okay, you know what? With this particular max x function right now, we want to pick only the top quarter. So I will have to group it. So we're going to do here top n. So with the top n now, what is the value we want to return? Just 1. You got it right now? So we use the summarize function over here. So with the summarize function right now, what it does is to actually group data by quarter for you. So how do we get this done? So we go to the calendar as a table. That is what it's looking for. Then group by what? Group by quarter. So put a comma here. And once you have done that, shift enter. The next thing we have to do right here is to actually say, you know what? I want to group by a particular value. So what value is that? So create here sales. Should I call this virtual table? So says value. So put a comma here, and inside here you bring the expression. The expression will actually be total sales, which is this particular value right in here. So once you have done that, shift enter, then you have to go ahead and close for your summarize, right? Then you have to actually, tell it how you want to actually go. So is it ascending or descending? If you do ascending from the smallest, descending, extract the largest value. So shift enter again. What you need to do right now is to say, okay, you actually created sales where you store in your sales into this sales value right here. So if I place a comma right now, I'm going to choose descending over here. Then shift, enter again, close, then put a comma over here. And now for the expression, what do you want to return? We want to return quarter, not actual total sales. So now we go to calendar, we return our quarter from calendar. Once you are done, we go ahead and close. So we have just done justification to this. So if you want to see what it is going to return right now, we can actually do return over here, and the return will return this particular top quarter. Where the heck is it? Okay, I didn't put underscore. Let us have underscore right here. I always love to use underscore for anything I'm doing. Underscore, then we can now retrieve it with underscore. So let us look at what this will give to us. This will give us the fourth quarter because it has the highest, revenue. So now, can you see now? If you check it out, this is where it falls between October, November, and December. And this is beautiful. So right now, let us keep going. All right. So when I go down now, you can take this particular part off. So the question is this: what is next? What is next? The next thing we have to do right now is to return whatever has been selected from our slicer. If we check it out, we have this particular slicer here, which is the category slicer. So how do we actually retrieve what is selected? If there is nothing selected, it's not going to show up, but you're going to see the wonders of what I'm trying to do right now. Shift, enter. So over here, I'm going to create another variable here. So I'm going to call it underscore category sentence. Whatever you want to call it, it's optional. Okay, now over here, I'm going to use the if function to check if has one value. So which means if there is a selection, then from where are we trying to get that done? So category. And close, comma. So if it is true, what do you want? So you want to actually have in, then ampersand here. This in is going to be connected to our final results. Don't worry, you'll see how it goes. So now, selected value is a function that returns one single value from category here. Then you close, put a comma. For the result is false, don't want to return anything, give us blank, and go ahead and close this. So let us try to see what is one will return to us. So over here now, return category. Oh. Let's see what happens if I go ahead and check it out. Can you see? So let us select electronics. In electronics, if there is no selection, what happens? We have blank. Do you see how it functions right now? So let us go back to here and take a look at the function we have written. So over here, we actually use this particular one as a variable. We are now saying if has one value, which means if there is a selection, that means if there's a single selection, then add in and retrieve using the selected value here. Selected value will go into your data and find out what have you clicked on. Oh, this is it. Let me just retrieve it for you. And do that with adding in before whatever has been selected. And now it is how it is. So over here, we just return this. Let us take it off. So I believe you understand what I've done right here, right now. Okay, the next thing we have to do right away is to actually, create our top region. And this is going to be similar to what we have done before, except just for me to show you once more for you to get the understanding of what exactly I'm trying to do. We can actually copy what we have done right in here under this particular part and reuse it. But for learning purpose, let us go ahead and recreate again. So variable here, so I'm going to call this one underscore top region. So top region equals. Okay, to calculate top region now, we use max x, we use top n. So we say top n should return just one region. So once you have done that, we just want to use summarize. So inside summarize, we want to summarize our region table. Region table. So then the region column itself over here. So how do we want to actually calculate this? So it's going to be by sales. So we create a virtual table here. So call this sales value. Sales value 2. We already have this. I'm going to put 2 to it. So over here, we just have to bring in total sales. So once you are done now, shift enter, close, put a comma on it. And now it's asking for how do you want to actually order it. Pay attention to this particular part, is very, very important. So we want to order it. We are going to say is sales 2 we have just created over here. So put a comma and choose descending to retrieve the highest value. So now once you have done this now, the next thing you have to do, shift enter, close it, and it's asking for the max. What do you want to return? So put a comma over here. Now, the expression you want to return is not sales, but region. Region here. Can you see it now? So finally, you close and we are done. Okay, I don't have to return this again. You can try to return it and see what it will give to you. It will definitely give you a particular region that has the highest, revenue or the highest sales. So right now we have to combine everything together. Combine all parts into one readable business insight. So I can decide to leave a comment here. Here, I'm going to do combine all the. So how do we go about this? It's easy. We just have to say return. So once we return now, we just have to say underscore various sentence. That first one we created over here. So we add an ampersand here, shift enter to make sure we actually make it clean. Then over here now, we just have to say comma. So driven by strong. So put a space and under ampersand here. So we actually select the top. So underscore top. So top quarter. Under ampersand again. Space performance. Then we add the ampersand here. Then shift enter. So we can do underscore category. Sentence. Under ampersand to connect. Shift enter. Now we're gonna do comma again. So width. So this space I'm putting right here is important. If you don't put a space, you're gonna have your sentence being together. It's actually not gonna be okay. So over here, ampersand. So top region now. Top region and ampersand to concatenate. So region leading revenue growth. All right. If I hit my enter key, I should be ready to tell you guys goodbye because this is 100%. Let us look at what we have right here. Okay. Now, quickly, we have to make sure we minimize this. Let's go with 15. Beautiful. So I'm going to bring this to this end. So let us click over here and do this. My favorite font for this kind of thing here is going to be this Comic Sans MS here. So once I've done this now, we can reduce this to fit into this environment here. You see that now? So here we go. Okay, there is something that is happening now. This percentage is not showing as percentage. Quickly, you can just go back to the measure. I know what the problem is. The problem we have right now is that we don't have percentage at the end of the 0.00. So we should have percentage here, then hit the enter key. So now you can see 18.81%. If you want to actually round this, you just have to take 1 zero of it to be 19.1%. And this is exactly what it is that you need to know how to create. So you can see I've just solved these particular problems. I mean, everything we have right here has been perfectly, answered. Every single question has been answered. So what you can do right now is to recreate this, exactly what I've done. So once you have done that, now pick up a different data set and actually apply the same knowledge we have actually learned right in here. And it's going to make you learn a lot. That is what I did way back then. I actually, watch some YouTube videos, recreate what they have done there, pick some courses or some paid courses and recreate what that particular instructor had actually done. And after all, I'm going to pick different data sets and actually apply the same thing to it. And before you know, all this knowledge will stick. So how about this? Interesting, right? So if you're still watching, I'm going to say thank you very much for actually learning with me. Don't forget to subscribe and share to your friends and family. Leave a comment and let me know what you feel about this particular video. So if need be, you can check out my course and see what you can actually learn from me. So how about this? You're welcome.